Now listen, Dr. Stephen Hawking, can you remember that? Dr. Stephen Hawking wrote the first essay in the book, Predicting the Future, edited by Leo Howe and Alan Wayne, Cambridge University Press, 1993. It was a book on a series of lectures, actually. In this book, Dr. Stephen Hawking stated, if the density of the universe, 1 second after the Big Bang, had been greater than one little part in 1,000 billion, the universe would have recollapsed after 10 years. It wouldn't be here today. On the other hand, if the density of the universe at that moment had been less by the same amount, 1 part in 1,000 billion, the universe would have been essentially empty since it was about 10 years old. So says the world's leading cosmologist. At least some people say that, I don't know. Assuming this is true, then the odds against the selection of initial critical density by random chance are beyond the astronomical. They are great enough to make the word impossible into an understatement. Therefore, in order to avoid a creator and preserve the concept of random chance, Hawking had to put forward the anthropic principle. In back of the anthropic principle is his unspoken assumption that the second law of thermodynamics still exists, before the Big Bang, by which, according to that law, any increase in negentropy locally has to be paid for by an increase in entropy somewhere else. In common language, that means that ordered structures cannot be created except by creating more chaos in some other area. Right? So, for example, you cannot build a road through the jungle. No. You cannot build a road through the jungle without doing a lot of damage to the ecology, as well as using up a lot of energy and raw materials. In the case of a whole universe, therefore, you could only get an ordered universe out of pure chance by having a virtually unlimited number of disordered universes. Against this viewpoint, I would propose that according to Occam's razor, wherever an hypothesis depends on certain arbitrary assumptions, that hypothesis that contains the lesser number of arbitrary assumptions should be preferred. The concept of a creator seems to me a much more economical one than the hypothesis of a virtually infinite number of chaotic and futile universes existing by random chance. Furthermore, the impossibility factor of random initial conditions of density has not been eliminated by the anthropic principle, but merely and somewhat arbitrarily transferred to the infinite number of disordered universes. Moreover, I cannot understand why, as Hawking and Penrose proved, space-time and matter-energy cease to exist at the singularity, but apparently the second law of thermodynamics has managed to survive and go on working, impervious to everything else. Is it supposed to be self-existent? in that case, we are back to the absolute Tiamat duo of the Enuma Elish of Sumeria, which means an all-powerful god of chaos. I would be the first to admit that there are a lot of errors in the Bible, but I don't feel that we should throw the baby out with the bathwater quite to that extent. Frankly, I'm not interested in proving the existence of God. All I'm saying is that intellectual honesty should entitle us to include the creator hypothesis as a scientific concept, at least as valid as the anthropic principle, unless and until it can be disproved. That's the scientific. In other words, I want a level playing field. There is also the matter of responsibility. Responsibility. Is it fair to our children to brainwash them against the creator hypothesis instead of giving it equal time so that they're really free to make their own choice of values? Also, is it fair to our creator, if he does exist, to leave him out of the loop? The way forward should be along the lines of secularism, as enshrined in the Indian constitution, not the French one. However, while it may be impertinent to claim that we can prove the existence of God, if Hawking's above-mentioned mass is correct, the mathematical probability that there is a God could not be much less than 1,000 billion to 1. And that's a lot of odds. Okay?